You take an inhale and kind of open up the chest, extend the back leg. As you exhale, curl elbows towards each other, knee dips. Last few, inhale, open. Exhale, curl it in. Let's get 2 more. One more. Make sure lift and engage abdominals as you come here. Let's come back up to crescent. Take the arms up. Roll the shoulders down the back, palms face each other. You can either bend the back knee a little bit, see how that feels in the hip flexor on that leg. If you prefer to lengthen it, totally fine. One more big breath in. And then as you exhale, warrior 2, back heel drops. You're going to spread your arms nice and wide here. And warrior 2, you want to make sure you move back just a little bit so you can see my feet. That's good. You want to make sure that the back foot is either lining up at the edge of the mat or slightly turned in. You don't want to have it turned out. We're going to move in and out a few times here. Inhale, reach up, straighten your front leg. Exhale, push through cement, warrior 2. Let's do it again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, push. Just warming up for our side-facing postures. One more. And then we're going to stay in our warrior 2 for a brief moment here. Feel that belly drawing in and up. Nice long spine, working your core. Let's flip the right hand. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And on your exhale, cartwheel, hands down. Step your way back. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in. And let it out. Left legs turn. Inhale, take it sky high. Now you might just work with level hips here just to stretch hamstrings out. Or you can bend your knee and start to open up the hip. We will be getting into some hip opening postures today as well. Let's inhale back to 3-leg dog. Exhale, knee draws in and up. Really try to pick the hips up high so that you have enough space to step your left foot forward. Coming to our lunge on this side. Keep the back heel lifted as you make your way up. Let's inhale, open those cactus arms. Exhale, curl. Last few. Inhale, exhale. 2 to go. You don't have to dip as low as I'm dipping. You can dip wherever you like to dip. Let's come back up to crescent. Spread your shoulders away from each other. So just for a little side front view there. It's really actively drawing the shoulders down to strengthen the back. One more breath. On your exhale, warrior 2, drop the back heel down. Your feet should be basically in one line here, heel to heel or front heel to the middle of the back foot. Press into the outer edge of your right foot. Let's inhale, straighten the leg, hands up. Exhale, push through cement, warrior 2. Couple more. Inhale, up, expand. Exhale to push. One more. Get so big and long. And then back to that strong warrior 2. Release your hands from that strong push. Palms can face forward. One more breath here. Flip the left hand. Inhale, sweep up, savor it for a moment. And then exhale, cartwheel, hands down to earth. Step your way back. Downward facing dog. Big inhale. And exhale. Last 2. And one more. Coming back into our plank roll, soften your knees, lengthen spine. Exhale, lift and roll to plank. We're coming into side plank here, so we're going to drop the heels over to the left, and then reach right arm up to the sky. If you'd like to make this a little easier on yourself, you have a couple options. You could either drop the bottom knee down, or take your top leg and place it to the front of the lower leg, about halfway up your mat. This is a nice stretch for that top hip too. I can see some of my yogis in class today making this even harder by lifting the top leg. So you do you, my friends. And then we'll come back to center plank. Okay, other side. We've got this. Roll to the other side. Lift up the left arm. You can stack your feet on top of each other. You could stagger them, taking the modifications or amping it up. Don't worry about what your ego thinks you should do. Do what really feels true. Just go for whatever feels natural for you here. Take that arm back down, back to center plank. Let's drop the knees. Take a quick little break. Child's pose. Knees come out towards the edges of your mat. You can kind of wiggle and soften yourself down in between the thighs there. If this feels uncomfortable for you, you could always take your child's pose with your knees together. Just another moment. Get out of your head, really get into your body. Last breath here. Okay, back up to tabletop we go. Curl your toes, lift your knees, hover tabletop position, press back here, and then let's start to find down dog again. So I'm going to have you look forward, lengthen on the inhale. As you exhale, either walk or hop just towards the center of your mat. We'll inhale halfway, and then exhale, fold your way down. You can shake your head out for a moment. We'll be here for a couple more breaths. If you want to add your ragdoll arms in, you can grab opposite elbows here. Or if you can reach, okay, a nice thing to do is find gorilla. Take your hands underneath your feet from the front. This is a nice counter pose for all the pressure on the hands, our down dog, our side plank. I've got my toes all the way up to my wrists. I'm kind of massaging out the base of my hands, right, the heel of my hand with my toes. Maybe you pull a little bit here to get out of the upper back. Nice. Let's get ready to come out of this one. So release any grip you are working with. We will inhale to that strong half lift, press the floor away, lengthen the spine there. Exhale, fold down. Let's come all the way up. Inhale, rise up. And then exhale, hands draw to heart center. So we're simply going to turn to face the long side of the mat here. And then step your feet wide into Prasarita stance here, wide legs. Coming back to Warrior Two on the right side. Let's pick up the right toes and pivot on that heel. You want your knee and your toes to point the same direction. And spread your arms nice and wide. Let me grab my block. And if you have one, grab it too. So we will eventually be coming into our triangle pose here. Once you get there, remember to scoop and engage that low belly to protect your lower back and also for strength. Relax the shoulders a little bit. Actively draw them down, I guess is a better way to put that. Let's flip the right hand again. Inhale, reverse. And then as you exhale, come into your extended side angle, bringing your arm right onto your thigh. You can stay here. Or if you'd like to go for your triangle today, if you have your block, take your hand onto the block. If not, you can hold your shin. Begin to straighten the right leg. And you want to keep a small bend in it because you don't want to hyperextend it there. That can put a lot of pressure on the joint. If you keep it slightly bent, your muscles need to work a little harder here. If you want to find a nice heart opener here, you can find a half bind. Turn your palm to face behind you. Bend your left elbow and place your hand towards your lower back. You can also kind of really push on the lower back and drag it down a little bit. That's going to help you remember to lengthen the spine and keep your head nice and in line with your body here. One more breath. Let's take the arm back up. We'll inhale back to Warrior Two. If you only have one block, you're going to take that with you. Pivot on your right toes. Pick up your heel. We're going to take the block into the other hand. Warrior two on the left. And you just set that down. Come to warrior two. Look for your thumb. Shoulders actively from ears. Flip the left hand, inhale, come up. Exhale, extended side angle. Breathe. Feel that nice long energy. Take your hand down to the block or your shin. Start to straighten the left leg. Take your time about it. And just stop when your body says stop. So our body tends to tell us little soft warning signs. So we want to listen to those before our body starts screaming, right? So if you start to hear those little voices of the body, you want to really pay attention. Turn your hand to face back. Add your half bind here. Press your hand into the lower back. Bring your awareness into your body. Check in. Maybe you started to lock out your knee. Who knows? We're all going to be working on different individual things here. Always little micro adjustments you can take throughout your practice. One more breath. Hand reaches back up to the sky. You can just leave your block where it is this time. Bend your knee. Inhale, sweep up to warrior two. Actually, got to move it a little bit. And pivot so that your toes point forward here. We're going to come into a wide fold, taking the hands behind the back. Inhale, open the shoulders. And I've just got my hands interlaced here. As you exhale, we will begin to bend forward. You want to make sure you soften the knees. And then once you get down there, if it's not serving your body to keep your hands interlaced, you could definitely bring them somewhere else. Taking 3 breaths. Two more. And one more. Let's inhale and come up halfway. Release your hands down to the floor. We're going to get a few side lunges in here to stretch the inner thighs. You can keep your toes pointing forward, or you can spin them out a little bit as you move a little side to side. You want to keep drawing your hips back behind you. Just getting into a nice stretch for the inner thighs and opening up the hips. We have a half moon coming. So this is a nice way to prep the legs for that pose. And let's get about one more each way here. And if you feel that you want to linger on one side for a moment, feel free. I tend to kind of take my arm underneath my leg for a little extra support. That's also fun if you like to play with arm balances, just to find that connection. Whenever you are ready here, in no rush, we will take the edges of the feet back parallel to the edges of the mat. And just stay for one more breath. Good. Inhale, lift halfway. And then on the exhale, we're going to make our way back to down dog by picking up the left toes, pivoting on your heel, or the right toes, and then making your way back, stepping the feet back. One more breath in. And out. Last one. Inhale, look forward, bend your knees. Exhale, walk, or you can hop your feet up towards your hands. Let's inhale, halfway engage belly. Exhale, fold down, shake your head out. Take 2 breaths in and out. One more. Good. On your next inhale, we're coming all the way to stand. Start to press the floor away as you inhale. Lift all the way up. Sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart. I'm going to just go back and grab my block here. We're coming into a few balance poses. The first one will be your tree pose. So find your way into your mountain. You want your feet just underneath your hips. Squeeze and engage the low belly. And we'll start with the palms facing forward. Active fingers. Give yourself a little space. Try to lengthen that gorgeous neck. Keep that energy rising all the way up to shine through the crown of the head. And then balancing on the right leg first. Let's take our left leg up, and you can either just place it to the inside of your calf, taking your hands to heart center, or you can try to go and grab your ankle and place your foot up into the upper thigh. Once you've made your adjustments, you're going to start pressing away from the floor, root the feet, but then draw the energy up the leg and through the torso. Making sure you're not on your knee here because we're energizing the legs into each other. If you want to grow your tree branches to some other place, this is your tree. Your chance to be unique and make it your own. We have 4 more breaths. You have 2 more. And 1 more. Beautiful. Releasing your tree as you are ready. Sometimes your body's ready before your mind's ready. Go with it. It's fine. We'll come back to mountain. Maybe just check in here. Both of my sides feel extremely different. All right, let's try tree on the other side. I'm going to clear the air this time. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Scoop up all the energy you've got. Exhale, draw to the heart. Lower belly draws into spine. Weight into the left leg with more intention. And the right foot will come to the inner calf or grab it. Inner thigh there. Calm yourself here. You can either continue to press hands together or maybe you reach them out to the side because you need that help to keep you steady. Or maybe you just start to play with your branches. Okay, interlace your hands behind you. All different things we can play with here. Try to squeeze the standing ankle here. 1 more breath. And coming down as you're ready. Back to mountain pose. 2 breaths here. And 1 more. Okay. Coming into our half moon, if you have a block, if you don't have a block or you don't feel like doing half moon, you can do a second set of tree. You're welcome to try your half moon without the block, but I really find that it makes it much more accessible, stronger, and safer. So I'd love to use a block for mine. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. You can turn any old way you wish. You're going to have your block in front of you so that you'll be able to reach it. And we're back to mountain pose. Squeeze the glutes a little bit, squeeze belly, nice and tall and strong. We'll take the arms up on an in-breath to prepare. As you exhale, bend your knees, hinge down towards the floor. Inhale, lift halfway. From this lift, we're taking our left hand onto the block. We're going to balance on the left first here. Walk your block off to the side so you have a wider base. And then energetically start to press into the left leg to lift the right elbow and the right knee up into the ribs. Then from here, open and expand outward. So all the power to get you into this half moon is coming from the center of the body. We're not putting too much weight into the hand on the block. Your gaze can stay down to the floor. It's a lot easier. You are, however, more than welcome to challenge yourself by changing your drishti to the side. That's your focal point. Made me wiggle right away. Or even look up towards your top hand. Stay for 2 more here if you can. So the core is very strong to keep this leg straight and high. Squeeze the glute. 1 more breath in. As you exhale, we're going to bend the top knee and elbow. Slowly circle those around to plant your foot down next to the other one. Hand off the block, shake your head out a bit. Let's inhale and reach all the way up as we rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. 1 breath to just kind of absorb it. Inhaling. Exhaling. Other side, here we go. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, bend slowly down to earth. Inhale, half lift, squeeze and engage. Block comes underneath right hand. You can walk it off your mat. It's much easier to take that wider base. Start to press away from the floor using deep core muscles as you lift the left leg up now. And then from there, we open and expand. Arms straight up with wide open spirit fingers here. Squeezing the glutes, going to take that leg up a little higher. You want to flex your ankle. Me checking in with the standing knee. Try not to hyperextend it. And try to stay for 3 more breaths here. Two more. 1 more full round. Big inhale. As you exhale, we'll start to bend the left knee and let that arm sweep down. Plant your foot on the floor. Take your fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold down. I'm going to come into a deep squat from here. Let's inhale, find half lift. Start to walk your feet out a little wider. Toes point out. And then start to sit your weight gently down. Now, if this is not a pose you are doing often, you might need to bring a block or some sort of support, even a small stool underneath your hips. You can just press your elbows into the thighs, hands in prayer. Trying to keep the spine long, whether you're tilted forward or sitting straight up, doesn't really matter. It will feel different for you depending on how you do it. You just want to make sure you're not hunched in round. You want to keep nice and long. Over time, this pose will get more comfortable. It might take years, but who knows, right? We've got nothing but time. This pose for me is extremely comfortable. It's really nice on my lower back, but I've been doing this for 20 plus years. So, give yourself a break if it's not feeling good, but know that you can get here. Maybe not quite this deep, but to your version of this pose. Two breaths more. One more here. Good. To come out, we're going to place the hands down. Start to lift the hips, and then just step your feet back towards downward facing dog. I'm going to come on a little closer for you guys here. So stretch out. You can pedal or not. Big long breaths here. We're going to make our way into a high plank. So let's bend the knees. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, wave your plank. Your spine will thank you over time as that works the muscles that support it at its very closest. And then coming down to forearm plank. Drop your arms down. Feel free to drop your knees too at first, and then take them back up. You want to make sure that your belly is not dropping down like that. That will put some pressure on the low spine, and we're trying to not only alleviate that pressure, but really strengthen that area. And you never want to allow the hips to drop down without engaging the belly here. Continue to breathe. Few more. Your gaze is neutral wherever it would naturally go. Knees can come down at any time. I did mention this is a core strength class, right? Yeah. One more. Awesome sauce. Sphinx pose. Take the knees down, hips drop, tops of the feet down. So we're still keeping the elbows where they were, fingers wide. Starting to use your low belly to lift your belly up off the floor, even if it isn't actually lift. Internally, we're trying to lift it. And we are drawing ourselves through our arms here, lengthening the back. 2 more breaths. Guys, look good. 1 more. Let's come on down. So we're going to be spending some time down here on the ground. So I'm just going to adjust the angle of my camera. You can just take a break here for a moment. Let your arms reach down long and back. Bring one cheek down towards the floor and just rest for a moment. So even though we are on the floor, we do have some work coming our way. So for now, we're just going to rest for a moment. You could bend your knees and let your feet flop a little side to side. I heard a nice big old sigh after this one, especially after that big forearm plank. Now we're just going to let our head face the other way so that your neck gets a nice even stretch. You could try to circle the lower legs. I love doing that, keeping them parallel to each other and just circling them one way and then the other. And we're going to make our way into a round of back strengtheners here. That is part of our core and part that tends to be weak for many of us. So the first one we're going to do is our Cupcake Cobra. I'd like you to take your hands right out to the side. I think I'll spin this way so you can see my hands a little better. So just like some wings, and I call them cupcakes because pretend you got a cupcake you want to save for after class. You don't want to smush your frostings. You're right on the very tips of the fingers. You might take a moment to lengthen your legs out of the hips, curling your toes under, and just kind of moving them back a little bit. We're then going to press the tops of the feet into the ground. Lift your knees maybe here by squeezing glutes. And on your in-breath, let's lift up the chest. And as you exhale, we'll come down. We'll do that a couple times before we hold. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come down. One more like that. Inhale, lift up, press. And exhale, come down. This time we're going to stay up there. Come on up. We're pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. Let me spin around again for you. Your knees might lift up a little bit. One more. Last breath. And then we're going to come on down. You can either face your head in one direction if your neck needs a stretch and swish slosh the legs. Or you can make a pillow for your forehead if you prefer to keep your head straight down. Swishing the legs or not. We've got a couple more down here. So the next one is our half locust and half bow pose. So we're going to take the left arm long here to begin with. And the left leg is going to stay long. Bend the right knee, reach back, and see if you can grab a hold of your ankle. If not, you could grab your foot. Strap also can work here, or a towel or belt to wrap around your leg. We're going to start to press the fingertips into the floor on the long hand and the foot into the floor on the long leg. Take an inhale. As you exhale, kick your right foot into your hand. So you've got a back bend on the right side. You're nice and long on the left side. You can stay here. You could also float the long hand and the long leg up off the ground. Couple of breaths in and out. Last two. I know, one more. Last inhale. The exhale brings us down. Release your ankle. If you need to float the feet side to side or anything at all, do what you need. Otherwise, just rest long. And then we're going to take it on the other side. So now we'll take the right arm nice and long, right foot long. Bend the left leg. Go ahead and catch what you can catch. Press your fingertips down into that same little cobra cupcake here. Take an in-breath. As you exhale, we're kicking the left foot into the hand. Press the long foot into the ground. Press fingers into the ground. Then maybe you lift those up. See which one is serving you better. Last few breaths here. Two more. I know you guys look great. One more. Last one. Exhale, release. Let's make a pillow for our forehead. Unless of case you need to bring your head side to side. Otherwise, you can fold your arms under your head and move your feet a bit. And now we're going to make our way into a child's pose to help lengthen that out. So begin to lift yourself up onto hands and knees. Spread the knees out towards the outer edges of the mat, or you could take knees and feet all the way together and then start to take your hips back to the heels. If you bring your legs together, you'll have a nice support for the spine with a gentle rounding. If the knees are wide, we're getting into the hips and just really lengthening the spine here. We're going to let ourselves be here for 5 full rounds of breath. Four more. Three. Two. And one. Okay, we're going to press ourselves up to come up to sit on the heels just for a moment. Let me scooch my way a little forward here, Instagrammers. Okay, so next up, we're going into another back bend. This one is camel. We're going to come up onto our knees. And if this isn't comfortable for your knees, you can go ahead and roll the front of your mat a few times for extra cushion. I banged my knee on my doggy's face yesterday, so I got a big old bruise on my knees, so I needed extra cushion. We were having a lot of fun when we did that. I prefer to curl my toes under. This brings my heels up higher for me. Also stretches out the back of your feet. Could do it with your feet down, tops of the feet down. That's your choice. Before we find this, I want you to really squeeze and engage the lower belly. This is going to protect the lower back. I want to caution you from over bending lower back here. Let's start to take our hands like we're sliding them into back pockets facing down here. As you inhale, lift the chest. Start to press your hips a little forward, look up. Actually, let's tuck the chin. I think that's a little safer. We'll tuck the chin. Start to lift up through the chest as you press the hips forward. So we're all lengthening up as we press the hips forward to avoid getting too deep in the lower back. You can stay here, or you can start to see if you can reach your hands down to your heels. You can either keep your chin tucked, which might feel a little safer for you, or you can start to look up. You might be able to look back. I don't like the way that feels personally, so I tend to either keep my chin a little bit tucked or just lengthen the head. Now, we're not resting on the heels. It's almost like our hands are a taut line or our arms are a taut line, preventing our chest from just flying up to the sky. I'm going to take another few here. You want to really press the hips forward. One more. To come out, I would like you to tuck the chin and then slowly take your hands back up onto the back pockets and coming all the way back up. Let's come back down to child's. Beautiful job. Just one camel today. Can unroll your mat if you rolled it up. We're going to come back to child's pose, knees wide or together. And this time we're going to add a little side stretch in here. So we'll start to walk the hands over to the right side. And as you're reaching over to the right side, you might start to reach a little bit longer through the left side arm. Breathe long and slow. One more breath. Walk through center, over to the other side. And one more breath here. Final round. Just walk the hands back up towards the front. Come back up onto hands and knees. And just roll on over. So we'll start to find one more back bend from here. Coming into your bridge pose. The feet will come down to the floor, hips width apart. You want to keep the edges of your feet parallel towards the edges of the mat, best that you can. Take your arms alongside your body. Inhale here to prepare. And as you exhale, you'll start to curl your tailbone towards you and then lift yourself up one vertebra at a time until you are up on your upper back. Then you might start to walk your shoulders a little closer to each other underneath you. Feel free to adjust. I tend to engage the belly a lot, dip my hips down a little and really draw up here and then press back up. I feel as though I get a better stretch, a safer stretch if I gently back out and then come back up. You can keep your hands where they are and just kind of press the fingers down. Or if you like to walk the arms under you and interlace your fingers, you can go for that too. We're going to take a few more breaths here. Three more. If your body says no, let it gently come down. Keep pressing your knees forward here. Drive through the heels if you're still with me. One more breath. As you inhale, lift up slightly higher and walk the shoulders out. As you exhale, slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. We're going to take the hands to the creases of the thighs here and just gently press away. This is going to add a little spinal traction into the low spine. Just letting the spine rest in a nice long way here. And adding just enough self-adjustment for you by pressing the tops of the legs away. Last breath. Okay, my friends, core work is back. Before we get there, take your legs to chest, give yourself a little rock, a hug and squeeze. And we're going to press both legs up to the sky. Take your hands behind your head and just kind of hold the base of your head in your hands. And I want you to really actively press through the legs. You can either drive the heels up or you can press up with the balls of your feet, stiletto asana, like you're wearing high heels, right? Let's take a breath in, and as you exhale, we're lifting shoulders up off the ground. You don't want to yank your neck here, so try to keep your gaze more up. If you need to drop your shoulders down at any time during the sequence, please go ahead and do so. We're going to take an in-breath here. As you exhale, drop the right heel down as far as feels okay, maybe towards a hover. We're going to switch your legs on your inhale. Lift that one up. The other one descends. And then we'll keep switching. So just as you inhale, switch, and exhale, switch. If you feel as though this is a lot of pressure in your neck, you could drop the head down, even take your arms alongside you. That might be a lot easier. Or you could bend your knees. We're going to continue to do this nice and slowly. Couple more. Stick with me. And then the next time that your right foot is up and the left foot is down, we're going to pulse the upper body 10 times. Here we go. 10, 9. Try to go up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I know. 1. Switch legs. This is the last little bit here. Take it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You can always drop the lengthened foot to the floor if you need help. 2 and 1. Drop everything down, knees to chest. Ah. So I brought you down to the floor a little early for a reason. We're still working here. Rock a little side to side. We've got another one coming your way. These are your Yogi Bicycles to get into the obliques. So we'll take the hands back behind the head. I'd like you to bend your knees, but then press your knees away from you so they're stacked right over the hips. I might spin around so the yogis in class might be able to see me a little better this way. I'd like you to inhale again. Lift the shoulders. On an exhale, straighten out the right leg and then spin over towards the left knee. Inhale to center and then exhale to the other side. So it gets a lot harder as we go here to try to keep the bent knee stacked right over the hips. So when you twist, it wants to come closer to the elbow because that's a lot easier. Try to keep it where it is. Oh boy. Keep going slow. We inhale to center. We exhale, we lengthen. This is a tough one to do and talk, I'll tell you. Couple more. Last 2. Finish up. Final 1. Let's take the knees back to the chest. Oh, rock a little from side to side. Nice work. We're going to take a little twist here to just kind of unwind any tension. So we're going to take the right knee into the chest. Find that wind removing pose to begin with. Stretch your legs super long from each other. And we'll take the left hand onto your knee and then the right hand comes out to the side. And just allow your knee to cross your body. Twist to your degree, whatever feels good for you here. Couple of breaths in and out. So we're trying to keep both shoulders pressed down. Your closed eyes can face up. Or you might decide to turn your head to face the direction of your extended arm. One more breath here. Let's inhale and unwind to center. And we'll switch the legs out. Take your time. Really extend the long leg long. Draw the bent knee in as much as you can. Really squeeze and try to compress the chest. And then we'll twist. Taking the left arm out to the side, right hand on your left knee. Guide over. Maybe your eyes are closed. Last few breaths here. One more. Let's gently unwind on the in-breath. Take both legs in. Give yourself a rock side to side a little bit. We're going to make our way up into a seat so you can rock forward and back if you like to, or roll off to the side and then press your way up to seated. Just a couple of seated postures, and then I'll return you right back down into your comfortable place on the floor. So you'll extend your legs forward. You're going to sit up nice and tall. This is your Dandasana pose. You want to continue to lengthen and lift up through the belly. Hands can press lightly down to the floor. Shoulders drop down. It's a nice strengthening move here, even though it's very simple, to remind you to keep this length when we begin to find our fold, which is coming. Let's find Janu Sirsasana here. Bend your right knee, grab your foot, just like you were doing for your tree. You're going to place it to the inside of the extended leg. If you don't sit comfortably here, you can put a block or a cushion up underneath your hips. And if you notice that your right hip isn't feeling so good, bring up support under that hip, under that leg rather, to help it. We'll inhale up here, lengthen, and exhale, begin to bow forward, leading with your belly. Now that might mean that your front leg is bent a little bit. It might be bent quite a bit. If you are able to straighten it, that's fine too, but try not to hyperextend it. If you're very bendy, you can hold onto your foot. Two more breaths here. One more. Good. Let's inhale and sit up nice and tall. Here comes our second twist. So we're going to now pick our right knee up, put the foot on the ground. Interlace your hands on your shin and scooch it in. We're going to take the left hand onto our knee, right hand behind. Inhale, lengthen yourself up tall. And then as you exhale, you're going to spin over towards the right. You're going to try to keep your shoulders drop down and away from your ears. You might look all the way behind you if that feels okay for your neck, but we don't force it. For more intensity in the long leg, you can flex the front ankle, keeping that Dandasana feel here. Last few. One more. Good. Let's inhale, look forward, and exhale, we'll unwind. Straighten the right leg out, and we'll do the same with the left, starting with Janu Sirsasana. So we take our tree foot to the inside of the long leg, adjusting so that you're on your sits bones. If you need something under your knee, you go there. You'll inhale, lengthen up, whether your arms come with you or not. Exhale, begin to bow forward over your front leg. You can bring something under it. Even a block would work if you need a little extra support there. And get creative. I've used stuffed animals before as props. Last few here. Two more breaths in and out. And in and out. Good. Let's inhale. Find that long, tall spine. Let's pick up our knee on the exhale. Lift it up. Interlace fingers on your shin to sit up tall. We take right hand to knee, left hand behind. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist. You always want to twist with a long spine, so take the time to lengthen it out first. Start to drop the shoulders down and away from your ears. Soften the expression on your face here. Even close your eyes if you want to. Last few. And one more. Good. Let's inhale, look forward. Exhale, unwind everything, straighten out the legs. And then our final pose here is going to be our forward fold. Bring your feet just hips width apart. You can flex at the ankles a bit if you wish. Know that you might need a cushion or something under your knees. Inhale, find length through the spine. Whether the arms come with you is your choice. And then as you exhale, you'll begin to bow your way slowly forward. Let yourself just be here now. I'm just going to go dim the lights for the yogis in the room as we will be making our way onto our backs in a moment. You don't have to bow forward too much to get a good response from this pose. So you could be here. It's all about lengthening the spine in a very gentle stretch for the full back and across all of your hamstrings, just not at those two attachment points where we can tend to overstretch. One more breath here. Let's inhale and take ourselves up to our tall spine. Arms might come up. Exhale, hands back down. Start to come onto your back now, letting yourself rest. Knees onto the chest as you arrive and rock a little side to side. For a little massage of the lower back, take your hands onto your knees. We're going to circle the knees together. So just circle them around in one direction. They don't have to be big. My circles are very small. I'm just kind of rocking a little bit from one side to the other of the hip bone there that is meeting the floor at your lower back. And then you can take these little soothing circles in the opposite direction. But if it's not serving you and there's something else you're craving, that's fine as well. We're going to take our way into Happy Baby for our final stretch for the hips and the hamstrings. Take your feet up to the sky. Soles of the feet will face up. And then grab the outer edges of your feet if you can reach them. You can use inner edges if you feel like that's better for you, or even a strap. And start to pull the knees down towards the outer edges of your mat. Breathe. You can stay here to keep it in the hips and little hamstring, or for a lot of hamstring and inner thigh, you can start to straighten out the legs into a straddle. You can either continue to hold down towards the ankles, or I actually like to take my arms inside my thighs, wrap my hands around the thighs there, and push the thighs a little bit into the hands, and just kind of take the legs out long. Last two here. One more. Good. Our final pose will be our waterfall pose. So let's find the block. Goodness, what did I do with mine? There it is. Lift your hips up off the floor. Slide your block just on its lowest side under your sacrum. If you don't have a block, you could use really anything at all. Pillow or a rolled up towel or blanket, even a sweatshirt or a jacket. We're just going to lift our feet up to the sky. So we want the hips and the legs higher than the heart here. So we can just allow the circulation to just draw down the body back into the heart space. Arms will rest alongside you nice and easily. there's anything else that you like to do while you're here, maybe spinning the ankles around, or I know some students like to lift their arms up to the sky. So you can always do that if you wish. I like to let my arms rest. My arms are a little tired. So your biggest responsibility here is to just let go of whatever you're thinking about and just be with the sensations you're feeling. Be with whatever emotions come up. And being open and curious, noticing what types of thoughts start to try to steal your peace. Trying not to engage with the thoughts, even if it's something really exciting. Just make a mental note and set it to the side. Allowing yourself to be fully rested here. Last 3 breaths. 2 more. And 1 more. We'll start to find Shavasana here, so gently take one foot down and then the other. Lift yourself gently up off your block, set it to the side, place your hips down. You can either keep your feet here, just separating them a little bit and allowing them to knock inwards for a very gentle Shavasana for your lower back. Maybe you even just start here. And then if it feels right for you to extend both legs long, you can extend them long. Taking time to try to arrange your legs evenly. So many of us tend to have one limb a little longer than the other. So just try to tune into that. And if you do notice any difference, just try to even that out if you can. Drop those shoulders equally down and away from your ears before you completely relax. So Shavasana is not only a beautiful way to just let ourselves find some peace and rest, but we can also on a physical level arrange our body as evenly and as softly as possible to allow our muscles, tendons, ligaments to all cool down in this new alignment. Trying to create some muscle memory there to try to start to correct some of these imbalances. And that will just simply be. And in the same way that you did in your waterfall pose, simply being a conduit to whatever happens, letting the emotions, the thoughts just flow through you, just as the air, remaining calm. Allowing yourself to fully be here. And anytime you get pulled away, just as you would gently coax a little puppy or small child back into where you want them to kind of be, you speak to yourself in a soft, loving voice. And over time, we can start to learn to speak to ourselves in that calm, loving voice more frequently. And also to not only young children, but to all of the older children, grown ups alike. Trying to come from a place of love as opposed to judgment here. And then as you're ready, you'll start to bring more breath into the body bit by bit. Taking deeper inhales down to fill the belly and open up hips, lower back with breath. And just letting it go. Starting to bring some movement into your toes, your feet, ankles, or wrists. Maybe taking that long first morning stretch, taking the arms back, even lifting up your lower back, mid back up off the floor a little bit, adding a little bit of a back bend in here if that feels good for you. Allowing yourself to stay as you are if you wish, or if you would like to close seated, you will start to gently bring your legs back into the chest, give yourself love, rolling off to the side and staying for as long as feels right, and then gently pressing your way up here. If you would prefer to stay laying down, you will. Either taking hands onto the heart, one over the other, palms down, or hands to prayer at the heart and thumb knuckles pressing up against the center of the chest. Take another moment here, meeting yourself where you are. We will close with the sound of Om. Let's take our preparatory breath in and out. Inhale for your Om. Can open your eyes. Thank you all so much for being here and allowing me to guide your practice. I hope you feel delicious and wonderful. Have a fabulous day. Let's bow to each other in honor. Namaste.